Okay, so this is our presentation on fast fashion by myself, Crimson, and Chemming. I'll be talking first, and then it will be Crimson, and then Chemming. So to start off, um, obviously in fast fashion, people will have to be getting the supplies. They don't actually go to fabric stores; they get them from places that are like um from manufacturers in like China and like India and Bangladesh. Um, they work with the fabric before finding and getting the design for it. So then on to slide 3, the production of the products. As shocking as it is, some fast fashion companies actually have children as employees. Around 260 million children are employed around the world, and it's estimated that around 170 million are in the textile business. So usually the kids would be like getting the fabric, bringing it to them, and sometimes even allowed on the sewing machines, which is kind of scary. And this is mainly in the poorest parts of the world, where the fast fashion industry is very prominent. So on the fourth slide, there's another slide about production, and it's the awareness of it. The collapse of the garment factory in Bangladesh in 2013 brought attention to the dangers of fast fashion. Factory workers are exposed to toxic chemicals and have a wide range of breathing symptoms and like skin irritations, rashes, or issues with breathing, or even like the severest cases of um, the countries like India, China, Bangladesh were the biggest fast fashion manufacturers. Um, they are like also like the biggest user of fossil fuels, and it's just the conditions are so bad in some of the factories that they have to wear masks all the time, and even then it's still dangerous. Uh, yeah, and the demand for fast fashion doesn't seem to be slowing down. So the conditions in these factories are just plummeting, and like actually like it's getting to be more and more people in these factories, so less, definitely no social distancing. And a lot of old clothes go into landfills, and only 1% of material is usually recycled. So transporting the goods is like an important factor to the um to the emissions that they produce. The ships use a lot of fuel, and about 90% of clothes are shipped by the ships. Air transportation is also used, not as much as it is more expensive. The demand is very high, so the amount of transport that's going on is like horrendous for fast fashion. Alright, so now uh, Crimson's gonna talk.
All right, so I'm mostly going to be talking about the emissions produced and ways that we can improve and all that. So we're on the sixth slide right now. So the fast fashion industry greatly contributes to creating emissions that harm the planet. According to a 2018 UN Economic Commission report, 10% of global carbon emissions are caused by this industry. This is more emissions than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. In 2018, the average consumer was purchasing 60% more clothing in comparison to 2000, but each garment is kept only half as long. In addition to this, 40% of clothes that we own is never worn. Around 20% of wastewater is caused by fabric dyeing and treatment, while the other 85% of textiles are sent to landfills, which is roughly equivalent to 21 billion tons a year. To really illustrate this on the next slide, according to the UN Environmental Programme, every second there's an equivalent of one garbage truck filled with textiles that are sent to a landfill and burned in an incinerator. So this releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, produces dangerous environments for people and wildlife, and so much more. All right, so emissions caused by fabric. So one of the most common materials used to create these clothes is polyester, which is synthetic. It's present in around 60% of all fast fashion garments. They are made from fossil fuels and are non-biodegradable. It is speculated that this material alone releases 700,000 microfibers into the environment. This is harmful to the planet because the fiber size allows them to be accidentally consumed by wildlife, which could potentially poison an entire food chain of fish, birds, and other animals, and it can even make its way back to people as well. At the current rate of production and consumption of these clothes, greenhouse gas emissions will continue to rise by more than 50% by 2030, which will harm everyone as temperatures and sea levels continue to rise worldwide. So, due to the rapid production cycle of these garments, they're typically produced in a cost-effective manner that capitalize on popular trends. Combine this with the fact that they are often made of synthetic materials. That means these clothes don't typically last for long-term wear. So, but there are several ways that this can be improved, though. One of the ways is by utilizing new technology and having policies like zero waste fashion and all that kind of stuff. Another one is using cleaner modes of transportation to deliver the goods, such as electric trucks, LGN fuel for ships, and biofuel for aircraft, and increasing the amount of recycling and relying less on landfills such as incinerators. We're going to cover that throughout the slideshow. So on the next slide, this is an example of using new technology to increase sustainability. 3D sampling and 3D prototyping can be used to cut down waste by cutting accurate sizes in the initial stages of development so that the fabric isn't wasted long later down the line and thrown away. So that means that more accurate sizes can be produced in the initial stages, and they don't have to be returned back to the company. So that reduces transport. And one way that transport can be improved is by using green fuels. So as previously mentioned, ships are the most popular form of transportation for fast fashion. There are several alternative greener fuels that are currently being developed and that are utilized in the future. One of these is liquefied natural gas LNG, which was mentioned before, which has a low sulfur and nitrous emissions. That means it can produce fewer greenhouse gases than traditionally used diesel oil. Another contender is dimethyl ether, which is renewable, non-toxic. I think it's mostly utilized in China at the moment in the mining industry. So in addition to this, it's easy to ignite in diesel engines, so that means it can be used in large container ships quite easily. And other proposals include solar battery technologies and hydrogen fuel cells, which are in their infancy, but they could be developed further and utilized more in the future. So there's also greener fuels that could be used for aircraft as well. So air transport is another popular method of transporting fast fashion, but definitely not as popular as ships because it's more expensive. So thankfully, there are several cleaner fuel sources that are being developed at the moment, but they're still in their early stages. So some of these biofuels include energy cane, which is a type of genetically modified sugar cane. So it produces 12% less greenhouse gases than fossil fuels. And according to a study done by the Brazilian Bioethical Science and Technology Laboratory, energy cane can yield more than 2,500 liters of biojet fuel per acre of land. Another example of biofuel is using lumber or logging waste. that's typically used to produce paper, and you can also use palm oil as well, but they're in their early stages. But it goes to show that in the future, things can get better for this industry and others. Now it's Chen Ming's turn to speak.
Hi, everybody. About the fast fashion textile recycling, fast fashion doesn't create fashions. It's a response to fashion quickly. So raising people's awareness of copyright can lead to waste being reduced. The fast fashion model only works when consumers make a frequent purchase. But the problem is that the consumer gradually realize the seriousness of environment problems. As of China, if the waste textiles can be recycled every year, it's equivalent to reducing CO2 emissions by 80 million tons and saving crude oil by 24 million tons. And what can employee do in the corporate phenomenons of the fast fashion? A lot of paper documents are waste just for the sake of firms, and employees are required to wear formal clothes. Is considered employed to wear different clothes for a week. And according to my research, the waste from top 5 is about some water waste and energy waste and human resources waste and the fast fashion waste. And companies can establish a strict system of the use of company resources. And about the topic fast fashion waste, it can change. It's a good advice is change some small and you can change some small parts as much as possible. And come back the real situation, how to reduce waste such as paper. And according to research, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency shows that the office produced about 0.7 kilograms of waste paper per person per day. 40% of multi-cup sealed waste come from office building. Paper consumptions can be saved by copy only necessary. Use photocopy paper on both sides, but by paper with high recycled content, develop a recycling plant for the office supplies. The office had better sort the rubbish like a home. And about the overproduction, use a company to establish a culture that rejects fast fashion, not to grab market, low-cost mass production, reduce overproductions according to market demand, improve product quality at the same time, drive the renewable trend. Thanks.
Very good. That's you guys done?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're
Thank
done.
you. Thank you all. Just hold on there a sec, as I said. Well done on taking up my earlier tip about introducing each other. But don't forget, it's really important to tell everybody what slide they should be looking at as well. But really well done. I mean, that's a really coherent presentation and really well delivered. Just before I go on, can I welcome Wisdom Seeker, who hosted us 2 weeks ago for a really, really interesting class. So delighted that Wisdom could join us here this evening. So, any comments or questions? Maybe I'll leave it to Sidearm, Locks, and Wisdom to see if there's anything they'd like to say. Or make any comments.
I will jump right in. Another excellent set of slides. Both teams, excellent talks. All three of you in both teams shared the workload on giving the talk. You each had your own identifiable part of the talk. Good job, good job. I'm going to again nitpick on how you come across in appearance. Rachel, you probably didn't notice it, but you slumped over in an away avatar position. You just have to jiggle your mouse every once in a while and it will look like your avatar is awake. That was the only nit I wanted to pick this time. So good job, and I'll turn it back to the rest of the guys.
And I see Locks has made a comment. And Wisdom has given you a hint. You can actually set your avatar so that the away doesn't happen, which is a useful thing to do, particularly in the current climate where many of the times your avatar might go away because you've got a problem with your connection or something, and it's not clear to us whether you're there or not. But well done, I think, everybody. And you may return to your seats and relax.
Forgive my pronunciation.
Okay.